Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Sunday night, April the 28th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I don't know what the word is. I am hyped. I don't want to say I'm high, but because that never sounds right. But I'm just such in a good mood. I'm in such a good mood because the Canucks won 4-3 against the Nashville Predators. The Canucks take a commanding 3-1 series lead against the Nashville Predators. The Canucks look dead in the water for 56 and a half minutes of this game against the Nashville Predators. But then Brock Boeser scores with 3 minutes left. Brock Boeser scores with 7 seconds left. Elias Lindholm scores 62 seconds into overtime. Yeah, he still plays for our team. Actually, he did a really nice setup to Boeser on the second goal. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my intro, and then tonight's kind of weird overall because Parker and I did Canucks After Dark. We usually do it on Monday, but I'm supposed to go to the Justin Timberlake concert tomorrow, but I'm still not confirmed for that. And that's why we moved our show to today. But then I found out that Parker's not even going to be in town tomorrow night. So it all worked out. So Parker and I did Canucks After Dark. And usually on a Canucks After Dark, I'm tired out from talking Canucks talk. And then we just come on here and we play some online games. And that's my annual and my weekly games night on Monday. But today is Sunday. Today is a big Canucks win. I'm in a good mood. I'm trying to finish my Masters for this weekend. Then I'm in Denver. You guys know all that. But one of my good buddies, texted me earlier today, and he says, Clay, I want to come on your show. I said, fine. Once if I don't want you on my show. No, I didn't say that. I said, of course, I'll bring you on my show. But hey, man, I said, my show is really late, right? He goes, I know. This guy's a teacher. He used to, burning the midnight oil. So I can't wait to bring him on. I will. I'm pretty sure I haven't had him on this show yet. He's been on my channel before, and I'll explain what I mean. So I'm going to bring my friend on in about 3 or 4 minutes. So let me do my regular intro. Then I will, it's not a games night tonight. The Canucks had a game night. They won, and that's why I want to bring my friend on to talk to about. So let me do my intro first, and then we will get going. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thanks for your support as always, and to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from. Whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three, but the fact that you're here with me right now, know how much I always appreciate you, and I never, ever take you for granted. So this is how you can get involved before I bring my friend in. And yes, everyone's saying, oh, I know who it is. It's Charlie. You know it's Charlie because I put his name in the description. You don't know who Charlie is, or maybe you do. We'll see. This is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel. So that way you get active in the chat section so we can pepper Charlie with questions. And then you can also get notified of my videos every single day. Like the video. There are 100 of you watching on YouTube, another 40 or so watching on X. I expect that to go up as we go. But yes, 100 of you on YouTube. We got to get the likes way past 23, you guys. You guys know how much I love that 50% rule. Like the fact that we're here. Like the fact that I'm bringing someone on. Like the fact that I'm almost finished my Masters. And most importantly, like the fact that Brock Boeser had a hat trick. Elias Lindholm showed up. And Archer Seelovs wins a game, his first ever playoff game. And the Canucks have a chance to close off this series on Tuesday night. You can leave a donation and get the donation train out of the station. Who will be the first to do that? You can gift a membership. You can also buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And finally, if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. No, it's not Shannon's cat, Charly, because if I brought Charly on, I think it would be very much a one-sided conversation if I was talking to a cat. But stranger things have happened on this show. So without further ado, we are going to break down this game together, and we might not well, we'll see if we end up going goal by goal, or we just kind of talk in general, because I'll let Charlie explain to you his fandom, but I will say I've known him for over 20 years through church circles. He's been in at least 2 or 3 of my videos. He was Michael Jackson in one of them. I can see him giggling in the backstage right now. He was also in my famous NSYNC Christmas parody song. So he's been in a few, but most importantly, he's a good friend of mine. Same roller hockey team. We're the 2 worst players on the team by far. That's why we bring our average down a little bit, but we rejoice in it together. So without further ado, please welcome my friend, Charly.
Hey, Clay.
Mark.
Nice intro.
Yeah,
You know, I'm very thankful that you agreed to have me on such short notice. I just wanted someone to talk to about the game. That's really
okay. Can you let me know?
I had no idea what I'm getting myself into.
No, fine. Can everyone let me know if you can hear Charlie in the chat? If you can hear Charlie loud and clear, then we will get going right away. Yep. People say they can hear you. They can. Okay. Awesome.
So,
all right, Charlie, tell everyone about your fandom first. Okay.
Right.
Very quickly, how we know each other very quickly, and more importantly about your fandom.
Last time we chatted, it was on your show. It wasn't on this show, but it was on one of your other YouTube Canuck shows.
Yep.
And I remember it was a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I was giving my take on the question of whether we trade or keep Besser and or Miller.
That's right.
Right. And I gave you all these analytics and underlying numbers as to why we keep Besser, even though he wasn't performing like exceptionally well at the time. And I was also giving you a lot of underlying numbers on like why Miller was like this power play poacher and he's just like not worth it and blah, blah, blah. I have to admit now, you know, Miller, like back then that was true about Miller, but I think he's really evolved, as we all know. And I don't want to really get into that, but he's like,
yep.
I was wrong. We were good to have kept Miller, but Besser is really what I hope we get to talk about today.
We
will. My fandom. I just live and die with every Canuck goal against game. I've just been so nervous before every game, and it's been fun in 3 out of 4 of those games for sure. I wanted to ask you, where did you watch each of the games?
Game 1, I was in the arena. Game 2, I was home. Game 3, I was home. Game 4, I was home. And Game 5, I'll be going. Yeah. Game 1, I saw you. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I saw you. You exited just before me. So are you season, half season, quarter season?
Quarter seasons. And okay. So we get a game per round. And so, we were going to sell Game 1, but then last minute, we just decided to go, and we had like totally no regrets for doing that. That was an amazing experience. And so Game 1, I was at the arena. Game 2, I was at home.
Yeah.
Game 3, I watched at the viewing party at Rogers.
Yes.
That was really fun. That was pretty cool how they were able to sell out the lower bowl. And then this game, I was at a bar with some friends, and it was just awesome.
Awesome. All right, so let me tell everyone. So Charlie and I know each other for 2 decades from church circles. Charlie actually knows Gail's family. Charlie's mom and Gail's mom been friends for a long time, and that's how we got to know each other. We served in music together, in youth together. I got a few years on Charlie, but we've also played on the same roller hockey team. But one thing, aside from faith and things, one thing that does unite us is our love for the team. And often I'll get these random like calls from Charlie when I'm driving home, and I know he's driving home. I think he knows the sweet spot when to call me, and we end up chatting for 5, 10, sometimes half an hour. So we don't have to justify your fandom here. I'm just glad that you are willing to come on so late at night, and we'll go for about midnight, if that makes sense. Does that work for you?
Cool. I've actually written some notes about like different things I want to share, but also like get your take on. And I was thinking about like how the last time we spoke and how I was like really into the underlying numbers and analytics with this team. That was like 2 years ago, and I was thinking about this year and how I've actually not been that cognizant of what the numbers are, because it makes you realize that analytics matter when you're losing, but when you're winning, analytics don't matter as much. Like you don't look at those things. You're just looking at the bottom line that they're winning. And another thing I was thinking about too before coming on was how yesterday Ian McIntyre wrote this piece on Brock Besser. I don't know if you read it, and it was about how Brock Besser is really determined this playoffs to be an impact player. He said in the interview, I don't want to be just one of those players who performs during the season and then in the playoffs disappears. I want to really make a difference. And then he had this game. It was just and when we were down 3-1 and the Canucks weren't really showing much, I remember looking over at the guy next to me and I was like, I've never seen Brock Besser look so determined and fired up. So even he hadn't done his hat trick yet, but he looked like he was just, he was mixing it up with guys. He was pissed off when that goal went in the third period, the kicking motion. He's just usually such a calm player, but he's been more like emotional and engaged in that way.
I'm not sure if you can see the screen.
Sorry?
I'm not sure if you can see the screen when I put up comments. Yeah. Irvin, happy belated birthday, Irvin, by the way, says Besser skipped summer hockey this year and it shows.
Yeah. He and I think that sort of drive that Miller has really like rubbed off on him. He had 8 shots of the Canucks 20 shots today.
Yeah.
Just like how Miller had 6 shots of the Canucks 12 shots the other day. One thing that's not talked about with Besser's play in this game was so he had the hat trick and everyone was cheering that, but right before the overtime winner that Lindholm scored, Besser's line mates had gone off on a line change, but Besser was still on, and in the neutral zone, he did a defensive play on Forsberg. And stopped him from entering. And then he was the one who was able to bring the puck into the offensive zone with Joshua. And then 30 seconds later, we scored. Right. And it was that defensive play that got us one of our rare offensive zone times of the game. And that wasn't really mentioned, but did you know that he wasn't deemed the performer of the game by the Canucks social media? They put performer of the game after every game. So Besser didn't get it.
Who did they give it to?
Lindholm.
Okay. Yeah, Besser had the Hattie, Lindholm with the game winner. Yeah, maybe they got to give Lindholm some love, and he's had a rough start here. So
yeah. What do you make of the lack of shots? This whole series so far, the Canucks have very few shots.
That's an interesting question, Charlie. On my previous show, Parker and I were talking about, is Tocchet being outcoached? And I didn't go as far to say that. This is what I said. Nashville has been known as a defensive team in prior years, but this year, especially after the All-Star break, they were one of the highest offensive teams. And despite our major scoring prior to the All-Star break, it was flipped. We were the best 5-on-5 defensive team. So in theory, you'd think it'd be the other way, that we'd be the one blocking shots like we did in game 3. I think Nashville had a really good game plan for game 2. I think the Canucks were too slow to adjust to it. And then we did see in game 3 that they were shooting wingers out to the sides and at least flaring out there, trying some more east-west passing as opposed to trying to just shoot at the net. So yeah, I got a lot of play on game 2 for sure, but I'm not. You look at it tonight; they kind of went down to back to normal levels, right? The shot block total. Yeah. So yeah, no, I thought it was just so frustrating in game 2 because for every shot they blocked, we also missed the net. That's why we had 84 shot attempts and only 18 on goal, which is the most absurd percentage I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think Petey had 11 of those shot attempts and 0 hit the net for him. I was thinking about the lack of shots though, and I'm thinking it's actually not that surprising. I think if you look back through the entire regular season, we're not a high volume shot team. Remember, there was a lot of jokes.
Video talk. Yeah.
How about the Canucks? Their shooting percentage isn't sustainable, right? They have so few shots, yet so many goals. And that's not sustainable. And it shows it's not sustainable in playoff hockey for sure, because it's tighter. So they have they're not a team that takes a lot of shots generally throughout the season. Typically that they're not. And so I think that's biting them right now. Like they need to shoot more. And that's where coaching needs to adjust so that they shoot more, I guess, somehow. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I also think their defensive structure, as sound as it is and as solid as it is, it, you know, it keeps Nashville to the perimeter for the most part. But I think the part of it that's not been performing as well as it does in the regular season is the forwards defensive game. And what I mean specifically by that is they're not stopping the entrance in the neutral zone as well as we did in the regular season. So they're letting the Predators come in with so much speed, where in the regular season, they were really good at mitigating that speed of any team coming in. And how that helps is because teams are slower in entering our zone, it actually allows Hughes and the other defensemen to break out a lot better, to get the pucks in the corner, retrieve it, and break out. But because we're not neutralizing the speed, when the Predators come in and then Hughes tries to get the puck in the corner, he gets nailed.
Yeah.
and we're not able to break out. And when we're not able to break out, we're not able to spend time in the offensive zone. And I read somewhere, I heard it on the radio, Drance mentioned, I think, that the Canucks defense has primarily been their offensive zone time. So they spend the most time in the offensive zone. I think in the entire league, they have the highest offensive zone pressure percentage. Like their time in the offensive zone is the highest in the entire league. Even though they might not get the most shots or the most chances, they spend time there, and that's how they play defense. But they haven't been doing that, and I think that's because they're not stopping the entrance into their zone. It starts there, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's their issue, and I don't know how they need to change that or like address that, because that's where we've been not playing well.
You made a good point about Hughes getting rocked every time he touches the puck, and I shuddered a couple times in the first period. Like I was actually scared he was going to legit get hurt. Like it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, he I think he, knock on wood, he will or could get hurt if we don't adjust. You know what I mean? Like, because other teams are just going to continue doing that if we advance, right?
You think he's hurt already?
I'd say maybe, yeah. But the thing is, that move he made for the tying goal was amazing. Remember when he made Nyquist?
He shook Nyquist. That was so good.
So I don't know. Like I don't know if he's hurt, but probably fatigued and banged up, but not like actually with any sort of specific injury. I don't think. Sure. They're probably all banged up. And it's concerning because it's only 4 games into the playoffs and they're already a lot of them are all banged up and slower than usual, right? So it's
awesome. Three goalies in the first 4 games. Amazing.
I know, but all victories, right? Like with the 3 different goalies. Like,
that's a good point.
I think it shows that, their defensive structure that Tocchet has created is good for any goalie. Like any goalie could go in there and they could still win, right? Because they keep shots mostly to the perimeter. I think today's game, they gave up a lot of like fast breaks, more than usual, but usually that's not the case, right?
Absolutely. Let's get to your list, because I want to save the last 10 minutes for people to ask you questions.
I've been hitting on the points that I've been writing already anyway. So
awesome. I love the flow of our car. It's just like when we're hanging out when we're bench warmers on our whole roller hockey team and just sitting there chatting about stuff on the bench there. It feels like very natural.
One of the other things about their defense I wanted to bring up was, I think they're also losing so many puck battles along the boards. Like they're not coming out of those board battles with the puck that often. And throughout the season, they were so good at that. Pettersson stands out to me there, that he's losing so many puck battles.
Charlie, he when it connects, it looks awesome, but when it doesn't, like in game 2, it looks so silly. For game 1, when he tries that reverse hit, when he doesn't have to, the puck comes along, and instead of actually playing it with a stick, he tries to absorb the puck and absorb a hit.
Yeah.
And then the Nashville guys, they just take the puck. Like,
yeah. I know. I don't know. I think it's just like growing pains. He's learning. I mean, we think back to the Sedins, right? Didn't the Sedins take a while to like really learn how to play in the playoffs, right?
For sure.
And there's similarities in their game because they're both like they're precision players, right? They're just like they're all about perfection and precision in their game, and so I think it takes it. You know, it's gonna be also a same sort of like learning curve for Pettersson and how to play playoff hockey. But you know, in saying that, I remember the bubble playoffs and he was awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
Right. So it's great. Like, yeah, I don't know. But on the bright side, I mean, the fact that we're up 3-1 and Pettersson is not playing well. I mean, if he somehow figures it out, we'd be even more of a force, right?
Yeah, so, you're so right. Besser Miller obviously carrying this team offensively. And then even today, like the Lindholm Garland Bluger line, they're quite Lindholm Garland Joshua, they're quiet until the OT winner. So you picture this, we're winning these games without, you could argue, 4 of our top 6 not really doing much yet. PD, Hoglander, Mikheyev, and Suter. And just imagine if 1 or even 2 of those guys get going, so much better.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you guys and maybe, or you and maybe the audience here. I've been thinking about their line combinations, and like, especially in this game, I was thinking they should go back to Bluger, Joshua, Garland as a line. Cause that's a proven line all season that whenever we got scored against, they'd be put on and then we'd get a goal right away, or like tons of time in the offensive zone, draw a penalty and get a power play. That line just got things going for us. And I feel like Bluger actually played a good game today. Like the 4th line was the line that was getting most of our offensive zone time for most of the game, but
So what would you do the rest of the lines then? What would you do with the rest of the lines then if you put those guys together?
Yeah, so I would put first Bluger, Garland, and Joshua together as their 3rd line, but then I think I'd put Lindholm with Petey to get Petey going. I think Petey needs more skill with him. Yeah, and so I'd put Lindholm and Petey and either and the Hoglander probably. You could have that Swedish line, and then you could either keep Miller, Besser, and Suter together, or you can put Mikheyev up there and Suter can center the 4th line. With Lafferty and Di Giuseppe. And I think even like going into the 3rd period, I was like saying to the guy I was watching with, I said, they should play just 3 lines. They should shorten the bench and just play those top 3 lines that I just mentioned. Because, you know, they're desperate. They need to be desperate now. But I'm surprised they didn't change any of the lines. And, you know, but at the end, it ended up being fine because Lindholm ended up scoring with Garland and Joshua. So if they had put Bluger there, maybe Bluger wouldn't have finished, right? Like the way Lindholm did.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? Prior to the series starting, Charlie, like I acknowledge, and we've heard Tocchet say he loves Lindholm as his 3C because he loves, that is pretty good, right? Miller, Pettersson, Lindholm, and Bluger or Suter as your 4th line center. And then you have Amon also there that can play. But I would be okay, a slight variation of what you said. I would be okay with Lotta line and then Lindholm, Hoglander, Mikheyev. Like, so you just switch. And then Joshua, Bluger, Garland, and you're right, do whatever you want with the 4th. So I hear what you're saying. If Lindholm keeps playing like this, you're right. You almost want to get him into the top 6 or you just ride that 3rd line as a top 2 line. And they could be the X factor, which I've been saying all season, all series.
Yeah. You mean when you say that 3rd line, you mean Lindholm, Garland, Joshua?
Yes.
As it is now, right?
Yeah, as it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, that becomes an even better version of the Bluger, Joshua, Garland.
In theory.
Right? In theory. But it hasn't yet. So I was like, okay, if it's not working, just put Bluger back with them. I'm sure they'll have their chemistry again. We've all seen that line has such good chemistry, right? That 3rd line, the Bluger one. But yeah, no, ideally you'd have the 3 of them down the middle, like Tocchet said. But the other benefit of putting Lindholm on the 2nd line with Petey is it maybe will get Petey going. Because I think, you know, Petey needs more skill guys with him too. Like I think like right now he can't carry the line, right? He's not in that place to carry Hoglander and Mikheyev. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what changes Tocchet does, because one of the things he's been saying for most of the playoffs is like, oh, we got to stick to what we're doing. They're playing well, and we just got to be patient and not really make any changes. And a part of me understands why he's saying that, because they really believe in their structure. And, for the most part, in a lot of these games, they have been playing well. They just their shots have been suppressed and things like that.
Yeah.
But today's game showed me that, no, I think they need to make some adjustments. I don't think they should stick to, they need to make some changes. And I think Tocchet said as much in his post-game interview today. I think he knows they need to make some adjustments. I don't know what they're going to be, though, but
you're getting some love in the chat, by the way. Canucks should need to hire this guy ASAP. No, he didn't, but he didn't say what they're going to hire you for, but no. So Charlie, but you bring up an extra interesting point, because, and I'm not saying which, both these fans can be right, but you can have one fan saying, I don't care substance. I mean, I don't care about the form. I just care that we won, right? And look, we're the team coming home. It's not even like we're going to game 5 away. We're the team coming home 3-1. We have 3 chances to win the series, 2 of them at home. I'll take that. But I agree. There's going to be another, and Tocchet might be in this camp where he says, yeah, we're winning, but I don't like the way that we're winning. And even Drance said something about that. He said, it's weird to hear the coaches. You have the coach that's about to win the series potentially saying, yeah, I don't like the way we're playing. And you have the coach that's down 3-1 saying, I actually like the way we're playing.
Yeah. No, I'm torn between those two thoughts too, about we are winning. So maybe we just keep doing what we're doing. Right. But I just don't know how sustainable it is. We got, what's not been talked about? How lucky we got with that post. Sissons hitting the post.
Yeah.
Sissons hitting the post has not really been talked about anywhere. I haven't really seen it online being something that's a huge, Shorthouse said, he's let's, I remember when after the post happened, Shorthouse commentary said something let's hope that him hitting the post becomes a huge talking point after this game.
Right.
And if it wasn't for that post, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And he was 10 to 15 feet away from the net.
Yeah,
that was insane.
He should have scored. So Charlie, that's a really good point about the post. And I have started to see people start to talk about it. But yeah, I think if Besser didn't have a hat trick, if the game didn't end in a minute, and if it wasn't Archer Seelovs, those are 3 big storylines but that's a really good point. And I think I'm sure, not to pile on the guy, but I'm sure there's no one that feels worse than Colton Sissons right now. But you're right. That's the difference between a 2-2 with basically, with Nashville having some momentum to, so crazy.
Yeah, by the way, of inches, the guy says. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally a game of inches.
So did the bar go pretty crazy? The bar go pretty crazy when they.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We were just screaming and jumping when we won. It was it's really fun watching with a group, right? So on Tuesday, I'm probably watching at home.
Yeah.
And so if we win the series, then it's not going to be as fun of a celebration, but whatever. I'm
I'll meet you. I'll just drive by your house on the way home. And
but well, let's talk about the goalies then, Seelovs.
Yeah.
What do you think of him? I think that guy has he's so poised for such a young person.
Yeah, I think after he did the World Championships last year, I think the Canucks knew that they know he's their goalie of the future, even post Demko, but that's 3, 4, 6 years down the road. But even I think they know he's their backup. But I heard that he's next year, he's still waiver eligible. So you don't have to worry about someone plucking him if you want to take advantage of the Avastrid minutia. I think Casey DeSmith was a brilliant trade. And because you obviously, we've shown that you need not just one backup, you need 2. We're 3 deep already. I do think that they can let DeSmith go because he's already making 1.9. He'll probably want to make more, especially if we go on a deep run. We simply can't afford it. Is Seelovs the guy to go next season? Maybe. I have confidence in him truly to be a backup, play 20 to 25 games. But I really think I could also see, depending on how the money shakes out, they might bring in, a veteran goalie to battle him. But I like him a lot. I think he's poised, he's big, he's fast, and he works his butt off. I really like him.
Yeah, and in his interview, he was talking about like how he wasn't. They were asking like, "Were you nervous?" And he's like, "No, I wasn't that nervous." He's like, "I just relied on all the things that I practice every day." And then they asked him, "How did you feel when they first told you you're gonna play?" He's like, "I was like, awesome. I get to shine. It's my chance to try to shine."
Yeah.
Like just that confidence, and it didn't come off as arrogant. It was just like he's just like has a security and certainty in himself, which is good. Speaking of DeSmith, I don't know if you saw his interview after the Game 3 win, when he was asked about what he was thinking in the last 2 minutes of the game. He said I just said, "Dear God, please." I just prayed to God that God would help me stop the pucks, and he did, and he helped us win. And he gave credit to God for it. I was like, whoa, this is an outspoken Christian goalie.
But
yeah, DeSmith, it's gonna be difficult for Tocchet to choose between either of them if DeSmith is ready to go. Because who do you pick? Like, Silov's played really well.
Yeah.
But
I go to Smith.
What?
100%. And I put that poll question. I'll end it right now. I said, and 70% saying DeSmith, 30% saying Shilovs. If DeSmith is healthy, I think he still gives you a better chance to win. I put him in.
But what if he's not completely healthy?
Then I'm fine playing Shilovs.
Yeah. I think that's what I would do too. And I think that's as much as Tocchet really said too. Here's a bigger question about goalies in general. And this is a conversation that came up in the middle of the game with one of the buddies I was watching with. There are only like 1 to 5 elite goaltenders in the league, like the ones that are like, you consider core players on your team if you build around them. And I think Demko is one of those guys. And the Canucks have decided, that they want Demko in their core. I guess the question I have is, do you think that that's a good team strategy or team building strategy to have one of your core players be a goalie?
Yeah. I'm fine with it as long as one of your goalies isn't the captain. And I know what I'm referring to. Yeah. Here's the thing, Charlie, like Demko after the season, still 2 more years at $5 million. That's a steal.
I know that's a steal. But after that, would you sign him again?
So that's the tricky thing. So he's going to be 30 years old when his contract winds up. And then we've seen how quickly goalies can dissipate their skill level. And this is so hard because what is it if they're ready to give the ball to Shilovs or the puck or the stick, I guess. Oh gosh, that's so tough. Because is Demko in for another 4 or 5 year contract at $5 or $6 million? I don't know. 30 years old, but there's some like Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously. Like there's some really good older Lundqvist did it. So maybe Demko's got one more big contract in.
But you think about it, those guys did it, but they didn't win, right? Like the teams they played for didn't win when they kept them after that in that age, right? And I think I love Demko and I like having one of the best goalies in the league on our team. But where it bites you is if the goalie is either gets injured like it is now or isn't playing well, that's a huge hole in your team because that's the part of the core of your team. Right. Whereas like if you have like, let's say 4 or 5 core players that are like forwards or defenders and not a goalie, and you have your goalie is just like, he's a good goalie, but not like the best goalie in the league. He's just good goalie. Your team learns how to play in front of a good goalie. And if you lose a core player to injury, it's not going to hurt you as much as when you lose a goalie who's a core player to injury. and which is what we're seeing now, right?
Sure, and that's an interesting theory, but I think it depends, Charlie, on how you define core. Like, are you talking about when it comes to social and leadership and locker room and practice and culture carrier? Yeah, this guy's a core, but you could argue what you just said, and I'm not disagreeing with you about any goalie. Markstrom goes down. Would you consider Markstrom a core player for Calgary? I don't know. That team stinks, but he goes down, that team's hooped, right? So there's a lot of goalies where I don't know the inner workings of these teams if they're considered core players, but I think by nature of the position, just like a quarterback is to and a pitcher is to a baseball team. I don't know. I think they're naturally part of the core.
I look at like the good teams, right? And you look at the contenders, and do they all have elite goalies? Some of them do, some of them don't, but I would say most of them actually don't. Like Edmonton doesn't. And what's the other team? Vegas doesn't, right? The Vegas goalie, Aiden Hill, was a backup that just like won the cup, right? Like, so like they didn't plan to build their team around Aiden Hill or like make him a core player, right?
Winnipeg, yes. Colorado, no.
Winnipeg,
Dallas,
yeah. Hellebuck,
Dallas, yes.
But look, Hellebuck's not even playing well now, right? So there's that's like that's support for my argument there. Like, if you're one of your core players is your goalie and he's not performing or he's hurt, it really hurts the team. Whereas if you have Petey, who's a core player, and he's not performing, it's hurting the team, but there are other ways to still succeed without Petey, right? Whereas with a goalie, it's like, it's really damaging.
Right.
But I don't know. Like,
that's interesting theory. I guess my point is, I see what you're saying, but if you take away the word core from your assertion, it still holds true for any team. Like Freddie Anderson isn't a core player for the Carolina Hurricanes, but if he goes down, then you're going to Kochetkov or whatever his name is, or like. So I don't disagree, especially when it comes to.
So I guess the question though, then with that, to your point, is that. But if you're not, so I guess when I say core, I mean like one of your stars. That you're willing to pay money, like give like a salary to. So like if you're putting your marbles in a goalie as part of your core or your group of stars that you're going to pay, and he goes down, that I'm saying it will hurt you a lot more than like if you have like a goalie who's just like good, but you're not putting that much money in them because the money's in other players. It's fair. Put into other players. So yes. So Charlie, my point gets trumped by the fact that Demko is only $5 million. So it's a steal right now. So it's like,
it is steal, but as soon as you're bringing money into your point, I 100% agree with you, because it's all about outplaying your contract. Right. And you can't have 8, 10, 12 million locked up in bad goaltending.
I'm seeing a comment here. Beanchild said Lindholm getting first star is mind-boggling. That I was just like, okay, he played well and he won tons of faceoffs, got some shots off, the assisted Besser goal and scored the winning goal. But how did Besser not get first star? I
think they're trying to get Lindholm to they're pumping his tires. Well, I want to show you this one because Jason Lim is the realtor I told you about who generously sponsors me on this channel, right? And blesses this community. And he says Charly P seems too nice. He needs to start to diss Nashville. And I don't want you to get in trouble. You got a diss in there right now or not yet?
No, when I watch the Canucks, I don't really like criticize the other team as much. Like I'm usually really just critical of the Canucks. So I don't worry so much about the other team. I mean Nashville, I have a lot of respect for them just because like they're not that good. I don't think, right? They're totally beatable, yet they're giving us such a hard time. I don't know if that was a diss enough for Jason. Like they're not that good. So I haven't actually felt so nervous about Canucks losing this series. Like I thought the Canucks were gonna sweep them, and they're giving us such a hard time. So it's like, okay, then they are a good team. I mean, they went on that run right before the season ended, right? Like they were the best team in the NHL since the All-Star break. Sure. And I think people don't really give them enough credit for that. But like, they don't really have many guys in their team that have any sort of star pedigree. And
Forsberg's pretty good.
Forsberg, I guess. O'Reilly has that veteran, sort of.
Jason, by the way, Jason accepts your diss. He says totally beatable is a good enough diss for Jason.
Yeah. I mean, they are totally beatable, I think. And I did say that, I thought they'd sweep them, but I will make I guess a caveat to that, like, is that, when people pick their brackets and they predict how long a series is going to go, and they go Canucks in 5, Canucks in 7, or whatever. Yeah. If I'm going to be really honest about what I'm predicting or thinking, as a fan, I expect the Canucks to win every single time. Like 82 games I watch, I'm always expecting them to win. And that's why it's so disappointing when they don't.
Right.
So if I'm being asked to pick Canucks in how many, like I said Canucks in 16. Right. like every series they're just gonna win. They're gonna and right now it's 6. I'm like 16-1. Then is what I'm sticking to. 16-1.
I like it. Take it. I'll take it.
I mean, at the bar today, I stayed till the end. A lot of my buddies had left, and I was the only one at my table left. Like Steph and Carolina had to go home too, and I was the only one that I stayed. And then when we won, there was someone else in the bar and said, I was not expecting that. And I was thinking, well, I was expecting that. That's why I watch, because I'm expecting them to do that.
I love this.
It's just so satisfying seeing them win tonight, despite playing such a bad game.
This is the best comment, and I think we can both take this. Charly, with those Asian standards, anything less than 82 out of 82 wins is a fail. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. That's the delusional, I guess, perspective I have, that they're going to win every game.
All right,
but if you're a fan, don't you just aren't you watching because you actually believe to the last second that they could, do something?
Yeah, of course. And yet we're mature enough and we're smart enough to recognize that the other team on the ice with you is just as talented and wanting to win just as badly. Of course, that's why they play the games. Let's do this. I'll do a quick. It's like a 2/3 show sponsor read. I'll do that real quick, and then we'll do. If you're okay, we'll do 10 more minutes with questions from the audience, if that's cool. All right, so just hang tight. You can stay on the screen. Just don't talk through what I'm going to talk to. All right, shout out to my sponsors, Van State Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Check them out at ptform.com. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork, and thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Before we get to Q&A with Charly, a reminder that you can subscribe to this channel so you get active in the chat section. You can like the video. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. It helps me out. You can gift memberships. You can buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review it. Don't be shy. You can still give, even though I have Charly with me. And one other thing, I have no show tomorrow night because I think I'm still going to be busy tomorrow night. I think I'm going to the concert, but I gotta confirm that. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll have my shows here at 11 p.m. And then Thursday, I'm flying to Denver to finally obtain my Master of Arts in Pastoral Theology after 5 long years. That's why I want the Canucks to finish it off on Tuesday night. Okay, give me some questions in the chat for Charly. Let's try and aim for 12:15, and then we will go from there.
I've been reading the comments now, just catching up. They're so funny.
No, this is a very funny community for sure.
Don't take betting tips from Charly is the best because I said that the Canucks should win every game.
50 out of 82. There we go. Hughes is playing hurt. Predators were targeting him since game 2 to 4 sandwiched him. Do you think he's got a shoulder injury? Do you think he's got any type of injury? I know we touched on this really quickly earlier, but what do you think?
Say that again.
Do you think he's got a shoulder injury or any type of injury?
Hughes?
Yeah.
I don't know. If he is injured, he's still pretty awesome, right? He's not dominating the game the way he did in the regular season, but he's still playing awesome. So he does look like he's grimacing all the time. So
yeah, he does.
He probably is like he's hurt in some way.
Yeah.
Has he been shooting? He doesn't really shoot much, and he yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they tagged him. I think he's hurt. Justin, longtime viewer, says, how can Jack Eichel figure it out so quickly in playoff hockey without any playoff experience until last year? Well, PD had the bubble year experience and can't seem to put it together now. Not sure if you're watching what Jack Eichel's doing in that series.
Yeah, I think Jack Eichel, has a all-star cast around him too, though, right? Like it's like, that team is not a team to compare anyone to, because they have, I was looking at the roster. I think there's like 10 to 12 like legit star players that are on that team. And so when you're that stacked, every line has got to be covered by the defenseman of the other team. And so Eichel is going to get his chances, right? And Eichel also, won last year. So is the question asking about like he didn't have experience and won last year, or is it look at him now? He's playing so well now. But he also had last year.
No, I think it's overall he's a good playoff performer considering he didn't have any where he came from.
But I think playing for Vegas, I think everyone on that team, there's so many good players that you're all going to look good.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know. And maybe PD's hurt. I have no idea. Doesn't he look kind of depressed? Like PD looks sad.
No, I agree.
I remember seeing him come off the ice after game 1 when we won, and they were showing everyone walking down the tunnel, and PD just looked like he didn't even look like we won the game.
Irvin says, what crazy thing will you do if the Canucks go all the way? Tattoo, championship ring, go streaking, maybe all 3?
Oh man. I know that I'm going to cry. That's for sure. I'm just going to cry and then maybe go streaking. No, I don't know.
That'll make everyone else cry. Yeah.
I've never thought of getting a Canucks tattoo. I don't think I would, but what's a championship ring? Like we just buy one of the rings?
Like a belt or a ring, or do whatever you want. Yeah.
How about you? What would you do?
I committed. I do another 24-hour live stream.
24-hour.
Yeah. So I've done one. I did one in October 2021. It was awesome. But I had Dan Murphy. Oh no, Dan Murphy was supposed to come. I had Rick Dollywell on with me, James Duthie. So I had all these big wigs. Then I had a lot of local guys like Chris Faber on and some local podcasters. Then I had my kids on. Marie Huey came over. We did a 90-minute concert in the middle. Yeah.
So what about like when you had to go eat and stuff like that? Like
I took a 5 to 10 minute break at the end of every hour. And then the boys relieved. They took a whole hour off of me so I could go eat and shower and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan H just asked, Charlie, do you think Canucks finish it on Tuesday? Yes, I do. I think they're going to finish it on Tuesday. But that also is because as a fan, I believe they're going to win every game.
Does Dion know you, or when he or she asks, how's your personal life going, career, family? Do you know a Dion?
I do not know a Dion.
Okay.
Personal life is going great though. My 2-year-old daughter's a Canucks fan now. Like we brought her to the bar, and she was saying, "Go Canucks, go!" It was awesome. And she's wearing a Pedersen jersey. Thanks for asking.
No, that's awesome. There are a couple others I saw that I want to show you, but where did it go? Well, I just got to read this one because this guy, I don't even know who this is, but basically you'll see undefeated with Clay Stream Man, Clay Dress Man, Clay Dance Man, Clay Arena Man, Clay Lost Voice Man, Cole Clutch Man, Chronic Holiday Man, Dakota Hype Man, Hughes Hitman, Scissors Choke Man, Niels Fight Man, U2 Man, Tucker Poolman, Sealoff Save Man, Tom Green Man, defeated with Chronic Penalty Shot Man. And these are 2 names that people are trying to be funny, but I would not say them. So Ben Dover. A lot of maturity there on that one.
But that guy's pretty good with his words.
He's awesome. All right, we got 5 more minutes. Yeah.
I noticed Chronic Holiday Man. Like, Chronic does seem like he's kind of like invisible.
No, his was the chirp to Calgary. You have holidays in 2 days.
Oh yes. I remember that. Yeah. That was.
I like this one. Rank your offseason priorities for the Canucks based on what you've seen.
Oh, that's a great question.
Joshua Lindholm, Zadorov, and others.
So Joshua will be the cheapest of those three, I think. Even though Joshua has had the most impact for us, more than the other two, arguably, in the entire season. So I think I would prioritize Joshua because it's not going to take that much of your salary.
Yeah.
But with Lindholm and Zadorov, based on Zadorov's play, that's actually one of the talking points I had down and I didn't say is I've been loving Zadorov in this playoffs. Like at least the first 2-3 games, like today I didn't see him so much, but man, has he been so poised and he's just like totally stepping up. Like he's not running around like trying to get hits. He's just hitting at the right moments and they're awesome hits. And he's just playing so defensively well. And he's so calm. And I just really like how he's playing. I feel like he's come as advertised as Zadorov has. And he's the type of player you want for the playoffs. Like, we were all theorizing that because of his size and everything, but he's it, and I think I would probably prioritize him after Joshua and then Lindholm. But again, who knows how the playoffs pan out? Like Lindholm was a hero today and he scored our first goal of the playoffs in game 1. Right. And right. Lindholm could be expensive, right? Like he could be really expensive. And I don't think you can afford that.
No, that's fair. And Canucks fans, I think some of you know this, but some of you might not. These are the guys that are not signed to contracts for next year. Elias Lindholm, Teddy Bluger, Sam Lafferty, Dakota Joshua, Tyler Myers, Nikita Zadorov, Ian Cole, Mark Friedman, Casey DeSmith. Then you have, those are all UFAs. They can just walk. Then you have 2 RFAs where we have first dibs on them, Philip Hronik and Arturs Shilovs. There we go.
So Hronik I'd like to keep, but not for the amount that everyone is speculating he's asking for, which is like almost like $8 million. I don't think anyone wants to keep him for that much just because, I mean, Hughes isn't even earning that much. And I'd like to keep him if we can. And how about you? What do you think of Hronik?
I think, I go back and forth. First, I was saying when he started the season so well, and I recognize it was because of Hughes mostly, I was saying, you can actually pay him a tiny bit more than Hughes because Hughes is smart enough to realize that A, he's good for the team, and B, percentage of salary, no big deal. And Hughes is going to make 10, 11 million on his next contract, right? So I had that in my head. But then is it the optics? Does it look bad if Hronik, even from a pure salary number, does make more than Hughes? And then sometimes Hronik does mess up. Like today, he fell
in that goal.
Yeah, in game 3, he did a bad pinch. So he's not the cleanest. Not no one's perfect, but he's not the cleanest defensively. So that's an interesting. If it gets to arbitration, Charlie, that's an interesting case. That's an interesting argument because they're going to point to his offensive numbers and say, and then on one hand, you're always looking for a top right shot defenseman. Tom Verlander is going to be good, but they're projecting him as max ceiling as a second pairing guy. So I don't know. Yep. I don't know.
I think with all these UFAs though, what's good is that they're all playing right now for contracts, right? Like they're playing hard because they need and want a contract. So I think that's, hopefully a motivation for all of them.
I'll give you 2 more and then I'll let you go. What was your reaction to the season's empty net post?
Yeah, that was like, felt like a miracle. Like I had a friend call and say like, no one's talking about the post. And like, that was a legit miracle. Like we would have lost like, I think if I'm Sissons and if I'm Nashville, it's such a terrible way to lose, right? Like you play that game for the majority of the game, you're like killing us. And then you hit the post and then then we score 2 goals in 2 minutes and then win in overtime like that. It was just awesome.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And how about this one from Gurkmal? Favorite player, present and all time. Let's go with 2 answers here.
Well, Brock Besser for sure is my favorite player, present. I think Bure is probably my favorite all time.
Nice.
But that's just because that's when I became a fan. It was Pavel Bure that like made me a fan. Like I remember watching a few games in Pacific Coliseum and then just following that 94 run. And like, that's what made me a Canuck fan. But I don't know. Like I think about like guys like I have other favorite players in different eras. Like I really liked Kyle Wellwood. He was one of my favorites when he was around.
I remember him.
I
skates about as fast as I do. Yeah.
But he was a really smart player.
Good hands.
Yeah. But no, Besser and Bure would be my answer for that. But yeah.
Awesome. By the way, we did not get shut out because of this. Maybe this opens the floodgates. Let's give some love to Jason Lim in the chat. Our donation says Sissons is our Patrick Steffen. Yes, who
nice.
Famously blundered that empty net chance against the Edmonton Oilers many years ago. Thanks,
so,
Jay. Yeah, go ahead.
Patrick Steffen's miss also in the playoffs?
Oh, that's a good question. It seemed like it because the crowd was really into it for sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to look that up. So, Jay, thank you for the donation. Let's give some love to Jay, who's also our biggest sponsor in the chat. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. So we appreciate. And the donation train does get out of the station, albeit a bit late. So, Charlie, I'm going to get going here. Last thoughts. Just, do you think the Canucks get it done in Game 5? And give me 3 keys to win if they do.
Yeah, I think they will. And I think one key will be what I said earlier about slowing down the Predators in the neutral zone, and the forwards have to do that. Like one of the things that Tocchet has taught them this year is the forwards, the way they play defense is by skating forward and skating towards the puck carrier to angle him into defenders or like just slow them down. And I think that is key to getting them the victory, because there's a trickle down effect from that. It goes all the way to their breakout being successful if they're able to slow down the Predators from entering the zone. Okay. And then the other key is the Stars being the Stars again. Like they just have to do that. Like you're seeing all the other teams in the playoffs right now. The winners are where the Stars are playing like stars, right? Like the Edmonton Oilers, Vegas, Colorado. It's the Stars winning it, and we need to do that. And then I think the third key, maybe I'll just go the crowd. The Canucks fandom, is really gonna make it hard for Nashville to play there. I hope so, at least.
I hope so too. The Canucks, by winning Game 3, and I love the comparison you made between the road viewing party and Bridgestone Arena. And today, the Nashville Predators were loud and they had their funny chants. It's all your fault, blah, blah, blah. But I just love how we walked out of there with the win and winning both games there. So, I would love it if the Canucks didn't. I'm sure the Canucks would love it if they didn't have to travel there.
Hey, I got a question for you, or I don't know if anyone knows this. So if we win, and then if Edmonton wins, or like this is a question for any series, like if a series ends.
I've seen both, Charlie. I know what you're asking. Do they start or do they wait until? I've seen, especially in the NBA, they don't wait. But they don't make it. I think in a perfect world, all the series end at the same time, but that's obviously not realistic. I have seen both models. I have seen where a series may start, but if they do start, the most they would get in is 1 or 2 games max before the other series starts. So it's not like they would start on the very next free day. They would at least give them a bit of a buffer, but they also don't want them waiting. Like, can you imagine a sweep? If 2 teams sweep and they have to face each other versus 2 teams that are going to Game 7, that could be a week, like 7 or 8 day break, right? So
so the reason I asked that is because I'm worried about like obviously I'm assuming the Canucks make it really far, but I'm going to New York for a work trip with students at the end of
Oh, so
May.
this is about you. Okay.
Yeah, of course. It's at the end of May, and
Yeah.
it's the first week of June. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that like historically is around like the Western Conference Finals time. And I'm like, okay, if that happens, it's more likely it's going to happen. And it could even be the Stanley Cup. Like maybe not the Western Conference, but even the Stanley Cup series could be that at that time. And I could miss games because I'm away. So the next question I have is, I need tips on how to watch the games on my computer when I'm not in Canada. And
well, I'll help you with that offline. I just don't want to make sure I give you something where there's a virus on your computer. But generally, yeah, they have game 7s, if necessary, scheduled all the way to Saturday, May the 4th. So in theory, if everyone was clean, you would start on Monday. As someone else mentioned this in the chat too, on Monday, May the 6th. So if you say 2 week 6 and 13, yeah, when you're away, it'll be the end of the conference final. That's right. Yeah.
So all these people talking about how to stream.
Yeah, actually, this is the one I've used. I've used NHL 66 as well.
Okay.
And when you're out of the States,
yeah.
Jason says just illegally stream, Charlie.
Yeah.
A lot of good. And by the way, apparently that Stefan blunder was in the regular season, not.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and Aaron says they won't start round 2 matchups until all round series is over. Yeah, so maybe Aaron's right. So then they wouldn't start until Monday, May the 6th. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think of NBA, just sometimes NBA is offset a little bit, but this that would make sense for sure. Charlie, that was the fastest hour ever, man. That's what it always like when we chat. But I'm not even gonna bother putting up a poll. I know if I asked people, they would say bring this guy back because you are very passionate. No, you're very articulate. You know your stuff, and it's not pretentious. It's just like two buddies kind of hang out and chat, and which is what we do anyway. So maybe I'll try and bring you on once around if that works for you, if you're up for it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me, Clay. It's awesome to talk to another super fan and just yeah, it's like this is kind of like a religion, right? Like the Canucks fandom, and
and it's funny.
It's so awesome right now.
Yeah, and you and I can talk about that because that's the basis of our friendship. And
yeah,
So what I'll do, guys, I'll let Charlie go in a second. But yeah, Jason says I'm the next guest after we kick their ass on Tuesday.
Nice.
Super Tourist, I am going on Tuesday, and we got to recognize this donation from Ashish, which is awesome. Go Canucks, go Manoj Patel. Oh, it's from Manoj. Thank you. Regardless, I appreciate you, and let's give some love in the chat to Manoj for that generous donation. So this is what I'll do, Charlie. So you don't have to stick around and be bored for my outro. I will I'll say bye to you now, and then I will end off the show if that makes sense. So Charlie, thanks for being here. We will get you on once the Canucks advance past, and maybe we'll be talking about a Canucks Oilers matchup in a couple of weeks if that works for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks, man.
Right.
Thank you so much. Man. Thank you, everybody, for the questions.
Thanks, Char. Thanks for coming by, and say hi to Steph and when they wake up tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. God bless you, brother.
Yeah. Thanks. Tell your family hello as well.
I will. Thanks, Char. All right. There was Charlie, my buddy, and obviously he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing, and no, it was so good to have him here. I actually booted him. I didn't mean to remove him from the entire stream. So Charlie, if you're somehow watching this, sorry. I didn't mean to boot you out of the stream completely. I just meant to put you backstage. Anyways, he probably wants to go to bed anyway, for his big day tomorrow. So what I'll do is, let me know. Let me know your feedback on Charlie. I like. Well, Charlie's like one of my buds. We've known each other for a long time, but he's pretty kind of chill, which I like about him. Like, but he knows his stuff, and he's a really good writer. He's a good public speaker, and he's a passionate guy. He's strong. He's a good teacher. He's strong in his faith, and he's a good family man. So I really like him. And yeah, if you look up a couple of my Canucks videos, he's in them. I won't play them here because I'll just copyright myself, but you can look them up yourself for sure. All right. Thanks, Simon, for the nice feedback. Jason says, Charlie's been voted off the island. That was fun, says Taylor. And then Rob says, great stream. Chill, and he knows what he's talking about. Indeed. And Kian gives Charlie an 82 out of 82. Love it. Really, really good comments, guys. I'll make sure that he gets all of them. Okay, I'm going to slowly wind down. I've been joking both on Canucks After Dark and on this show that I'm not planning to do a show tomorrow night because I think I'm at a concert, but I need to confirm that. So right now I'm saying there's no show tomorrow, and I have shows on Tuesday and Wednesday at 11 p.m. And then Thursday I fly out to Denver. So look forward to hopefully a post-game show on Tuesday where we're talking about a Canucks win, and then a Wednesday show as well before I head to Denver. So thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Andrew Chang, and all Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, for liking, and subscribing. I want to thank Jason and Manoj for their generosity today, for going above and beyond, making sure the donation train got out of the station. So thank you to you two. Thank you to our sponsors, also Fancy Experts Real Estate and Perform and Transform Personal Training Weight Loss. And thanks to all of you for watching, for liking, and subscribing. Oh, your dad didn't see it? So Ashish, who are you and who's the dad? Is Manoj is your dad, right? And he's the one that left the donation. Well, show him the stream and tell him that we highlighted it and that we were grateful, that I was grateful to him. Charlie, every stream we could arrange that. Maybe he's my new not to replace Parker, but in addition, we could do a Charlie stream as well. So don't forget, I'm not doing a show tomorrow. Likely, I'll let you know if that changes. So I'll see you on Tuesday. I'm going to record my members Ask Me Anything now and my goal breakdown. Should be a lot of fun. Those should be up tomorrow morning. And yeah, I'm just very excited. It was a great win for the Vancouver Canucks, and they are the ones coming home with a 3-1 series lead. So on your way out, you can subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, buy your own membership, use your monthly membership message, or on a podcast platform. Make sure you rate and review. And thank you for being here. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And a big thank you once again to my friend Charlie. A B flat, an E flat, and a G flat walk into a bar. But the bartender says, sorry, I don't serve minors. Musicians will get that one. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.